Alright, I'm gonna work on some more of this English flint. This darker stuff. Okay. It looks like amoeba chert. Or reminds me of it. Okay, so I'm just gonna see what we got. I wish I had a book or more information on points made of this stuff. That way I can try to make something that was made out of this type of flint. But I'm sure they made blades out of it. I mean bifaces. I don't want to get anyone confused. Blades can be struck off. You know, it's a blade if it's twice as long as it is wide. When you strike it off from a core, or a blade can be a bifacial knife. The terminology can get confusing. So what does this look like so far? It just looks like high-grade flint so far. Now, it may be difficult to knap. We shall see. Now, David told me where he got this from. There's two different types of English flint. These are not from the same areas. This stuff here, I think he said that's from Norfolk, and this other one, I can't remember the name, but it's near the Thames River. Anyway, they come from different areas. We're gonna see how much they differ in quality. I can't be striking it like that too much. If I strike it too much in one area, it creates incipient cracks. You know, if nothing happens, if it doesn't flake, like right there, I hit it a couple times. I think it was right there. If I hit it too much without anything happening, it will have incipient cracks. That's not good. So I have to try to make sure I get a flake every time. You know, it's typical with all materials. But since it's so irregular, I don't have much room to work with. You gotta make every strike count to make this more regular. There's a pre-napping session crack right there. I don't know if that's from the quarry or natural impact. There we go. This one looks like it's going to be more difficult to prevent the step fractures on. It looks like I'll have a more difficult time preventing step fractures on this stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. It looks like the middle might be concretey. That's why I'm saving all these little flakes that are coming off near the cortex. I've seen very small barbed and tanged arrowheads and hollow based arrowheads, and if this is good quality stuff, I can make little arrowheads. Some of these pieces are good for fire starters, fire strikers, or whatever you want to call them. Anyways, I'm trying mainly for the biface, but if I can get nice flakes in the process, I'll save them. This one does not grind down as easily as the other stuff. Yeah, but if I can remember, I'll put the location names for these different nodules down in the comments or somewhere. Crystal pocket. Now, I don't know if I can strike off long blades with this stuff because I don't have a clear area where I can try to knock off a long blade. It looks a little more snap and half-ish than the other stuff. But it's hard to tell. Yeah, see, this flake broke. So it's probably more snap and half-ish than the other stuff. It's more brittle. It looks like. And it looks like it's more dense. It is higher grade in the darker areas, but it varies. It's not all dark flint. Some concrete right there. Yeah, the edges are not as forgiving on this stuff as it was as the edges were on the other stuff. These edges are more crackly. But it feels nice. If you could get a big nodule that's clear, I think this stuff would be a lot more pleasurable to nap than this odd shape. Alright, let's see. Where's a good place to attack it? I don't know. It's hard to strategize with something that's irregular. So you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, the flakes break up on this one. They don't stay together. See what I mean? It's not one piece, it's just all crackly. There's an issue with an existing crack in there. Right here. It doesn't look deep. We shall see. It goes in a little ways. We shall see. I need to know where that goes because I can't predict anything if it's got a crack in it. It makes it highly unpredictable. Yeah, there's still a little bit left. I gotta worry about this part also. I gotta make sure I don't install a curve, so that's why I'm trimming it right now, making sure that it'll remain straight when I'm taking off these big flakes. So I'll go around the whole thing and kind of nap in a chaotic way, but what I'm trying to do is making sure everything stays balanced. I still haven't removed all of that, but I will here in a minute. Now that's interesting. But it's diving. Yeah. That means it's going to be difficult to keep it wide. The flake went this way and that way, and it dove in a little bit. And no, it's not good. It increases the challenge. The main challenge with this is just the irregularity. It naps fine. It just has an irregular situation going on here. And I'm not preparing the edges all that well. I am hitting these weak edges because it's hard to grind it. It's hard to abrade it. I mean, it doesn't abrade easily, so you know, I should be spending the appropriate amount of time abrading. But when it's difficult to abrade, I don't like sitting here and abrading the edge for a long time. Unless I absolutely have to, and it's getting to the point where I absolutely have to sit here and abrade a lot. Alright, let's switch over to indirect percussion. because this is going to require some accuracy, high level of accuracy. Because it's starting to get thin. And I think I know why some people say they can't do anything with this. Is when the material dives, or is divey, as I call it, and you slab it. If you're slabbing material that's divey, that it wants to dive in, you've got to start with thick slabs so you can have lots of convexity in the surface. If you don't, you're not going to be able to do anything with it if you slab it. And I'm thinking that guys that are saying I can't do anything with it are guys that are working slabs. Yeah, and their slabs are too thin to begin with, so they can't get flakes to travel because the flakes want to dive in. They could get flakes that will travel if they just slab it thicker. Yeah, that goes against what you're slabbing it for. You're slabbing it to conserve the material. But you're not going to conserve it if you keep breaking it, or you keep creating nasty step fractures or hinges because the material wants to travel on a more convex surface than what you're providing. This one needs a convex surface. I'm seeing that it likes a more convex surface than the average. Some material you can strike off long flakes on flat surfaces. Depends on the material to a large extent. It's not always the material. You know, you can develop skill in creating long flakes on difficult material. How do you do it? It just requires lots of practice. Yeah. Because on difficult material that likes to dive, you just go a little bit past center. You don't try to go over the whole thing. You just do a clean flake a little bit past center, and that will thin it down. What I like to do is take the minimal amount of flakes and go as far across as possible, just because of my impatience. Yeah, but if I was working a slab of this stuff, I would, kind of figure out what my limits are as far as the length of flake without it diving, and narrow it down so where I can go just a little bit past halfway with the flakes, and I can start with a very thin piece. But it's going to be narrow, not wide. If the material likes to dive in, you can't get around it. You got to make narrow pieces. Yeah, this is not... It's kind of crunchy on the edges, so I've got to beef up the edges and do a lot of abrading it. On this one, it takes time to do the abrading. Yeah. And I'm doing just the minimum. I should be abrading more than this. I'm trying to be sneaky. It doesn't always work. Yeah, this material is a little bit more difficult to work than the other material. I thought it was going to be better because it's darker. It looks like a finer grain, higher grade material. I suppose it is, but it's got so many inconsistencies that it makes it actually worse than the other one. And the fact that it likes to dive in does not help either. It's very brittle too. The flakes break up. So at any time I might just break this in half by accident because the material is very brittle. Snap and halfish, as I like to say. I'm taking it very carefully. I mean, I'm going very carefully on areas that could snap easily, like the tip. It does create substantial dents in the tools quickly. Yeah, so that means a lot of tool tip maintenance. See, these flakes break up a lot. So you can't expect them to hold together. Which translates into, you know, you're not going to be able to make long barbs easily, as an example. That crack looks like it might actually go this way, all the way through the material. That's not good. That's a substantial crack. Now, if all I need is a blade for butchering, and I can stop here and just sharpen this side and not worry about messing with this side, and I can use it as a blade. But if I want it to be a projectile point, I can't have that big old crack in there. Now, is it worth making it really narrow? Because I'm going to have to basically almost bring it down to half the width to avoid the crack. Now I can make this the handle, make a beaker knife out of it by just sharpening this part up here and leaving this alone. And this just will be the handle down here. I don't know if they actually made them that way. I don't see very many artifacts with cracks in it that are left in place. They didn't really like these large cracks in the tools. Or maybe they didn't care, and then the tools that have cracks in them are the ones that get broken most often, so we don't actually see them. They get discarded and they look like debitage or something. Yeah, this is more like the raw type of root beer that I'm used to. This snaps a lot like the root beer chert that we have here in Texas. I'm not in Texas, but you know what I mean. Here in the U.S. I'm actually surprised it hasn't snapped yet. Right there. That's a big crack. Yep. Oh well. Was the beaker culture in England at the time? Did they expand out that far? Or was it just a continental culture? I don't know. Yeah, it needs a substantial edge or it's not going to work. Yeah, it's more brittle than the other stuff. Yep. I'm actually losing material on the edge I'm not supposed to lose material on. I thought it was going to be easier to take off some thinning flakes, but they stopped. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. Yikes. I'm trying to take off big flakes while I still have some mass, but it just wants to create an island. Now, should I have just trimmed it and then saved that half? Well, in hindsight, maybe. I can see that, let's see. This is where the crack was. How far does it go? Because I can see how far the crack goes here. I don't know, I can't tell if if this side was also cracked somewhere in there. I know that some of this was existing. I can't tell. So, in hindsight, it would probably have been better if I just kept that good half and napped away this part that had the crack. But it looks like that crack goes all the way to here, at least, maybe even further. So I would have been left with a very narrow strip there. But I can use these two halves. Just need to get rid of that mess. It's actually stronger than I would think. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the crack was very bad, but it still held together pretty good. But the fact that I couldn't get flakes to travel over it probably indicated that the crack was worse than I thought. And when it opened up, I still couldn't tell how bad that crack was. I got some concrete in there. I think I see a crack. Maybe not. See one in here, perhaps. Is there a crack in there? Yeah. There is a existing crack in there. Yes? No? Yeah, it looks like there is an existing crack. Yeah, this material is definitely tougher. Okay. All right, let's see. Come on. Existing crack right there. Yeah, I didn't expect that crack to be there. Right? I don't remember any issues before. Okay. This one's easy peasy to make something from. So I'm just going to leave that for later. This is the one that's going to be a bit more difficult to work with because it's smaller and it's harder to grab onto. But I know what I'm going to make out of it already. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, we'll continue with the smaller diameter. Alright, let's turn the... I'm going to turn the heater a little bit because it's starting to get down to the nitty gritty here. Okay. I don't want to snap this one. Come on. I caught my finger on something. It produces a very sharp edge, it feels like. Yeah. Okay. I know what this is going to do. This feels very similar to agates that we have here in the United States. These translucent agates, they're very difficult to knap as far as toughness. Once you get past the toughness, it's relatively easy to run flakes. But you got to be prepared for how tough it is. Yeah. This is actually more difficult to knap. This finer grain stuff, because it is tough and it might be beneficial to heat treat it. Yeah. But you never know. It may lose its sharpness, or it won't feel as sharp or be as sharp if you heat treat this. You know, the edges might crush when you try to sharpen it. If it's heat treated. Now in the beginning I said the edges were crushy anyway. Sometimes heat treating makes it worse. Sometimes it makes it better, I don't know. Yeah, it does. It all depends on the stone. But yeah, I think this overall could benefit from heat treat. If it is similar to the agates we have here, the agates definitely do improve quite a bit with heat treatment. But you never know till you try it. I'm wondering if I can actually make a long barb on this one. This feels like I'm going to break it with the amount of force I need to do anything to it. Yeah, the flakes don't want to travel. It's not like the other one where the flakes just keep going and going. I really got to force this issue with this particular stone. I have to hit it very, very hard. Yeah. Okay, I see where this is going. It's already in Stubbornville, but it's going to go to... I can tell already this is going to go to Insolentville. Come on. It's not that hard. The stone, thinks it wants to be difficult. Yeah. It thinks it's really tough. Which makes it good for arrowheads. Yeah. I don't know about larger blades, because with something that requires a lot of force to get any cooperation, you can end up with big islands in the middle of large blades. On a small arrowhead like this, I can force my way past this island here, probably. We'll see. But on a larger blade, the amount of force required risks breaking the whole thing in half. Now, if this did not have a crack in it to begin with, it probably wouldn't be that bad. Okay, let's see. Did it do it? See, you're not that tough. You try to be. Now let's just see if you can get thin. Come on. Okay. I'm gonna have to clean this up a lot. Why? I can tell it's slipping. Some noise. I can tell it's slipping on the edge, which means there's too much impacted into the tip, too much stone impacted into the tip here. And I really got to take a lot of material off for this to get a nice clean surface on the copper. Right. Perfect. Beautiful. Nice. I'm going to do one end more pointy than the other. I'm going to try to do as much as I can with percussion, because I got a feeling that the pressure flaking is going to be a chore on this stuff, and I've already got my fingers sore from pressure flaking earlier. Yeah, I made a couple things off camera. Supposedly they were going to be easy, but no. They turned out to be difficult. This one, like this one's is turning out to be. I should probably clean it up with pressure just to make it look a little bit nicer, and it's not so chaotic around the edges. But nah, a little bit more thinning, then I'll do some pressure work on it. Where's the other thing? Where's my other abrader? Okay, I see. I know, I see. I see what you're trying to do. It's resisting to the end. Yeah. It's not going to cut me any slack. Nope. It's not going to say, okay, I give up. No, it isn't. It's not going to give up easy. I'm having to add some pressure, but I don't like to do that. Because sometimes it'll slip and I'll hit the workpiece. But this is such tough material that I gotta do everything I can to add more force to these strikes. So I put a little pressure on it. Pressure assisted percussion. Yeah, and it helps that the copper has a fresh surface on it because it grabs the edge a little bit better and makes better contact. I lose less energy, which helps the whole process. My glasses are fogging up. Okay. I turn the heater off and what do I get? I get fogged up lenses. I'm comfortable as far as the heat goes or whatever. I'm not sweating, but then my lenses fog up. I got an itch and I don't have my back scratcher. This is making me itch. I'm hitting it really hard. Okay, come on. I have not hit the sweet spot yet on this stuff. How much grinding? I don't know. And then the sweet spot is the combination of the grinding and the amount of force used in the strike. And where to put the flaker on the edge. Is it low or high? Or it varies. Depending on if I'm knapping into this concrete or what. It seems to be all about the same consistency. What's the consistency? Uncooperative. Yeah, the concrete's a little bit tougher than the other part. Some of you are going, I would have picked that out a long time ago. What are you waiting for? Well, I just wanted to see if I could get it from the edge, but I got a feeling I got to do this anyway to minimize it, to make it easier to peel it off later. I was thinking maybe I'd be able to get a lucky hit on the side, but I've got to hit through this concrete first to get to it. That's not a good thing. Nope. Makes everything even more difficult. See? hitting it way too hard. Yeah, the edge is already too thin. I can't hit it from this side because that edge is already too thin. I gotta hit it from the other side. Alrighty. Yes, yeah. I'm gonna move the edge that way though. So I might as well start thinning this side a little bit more. Might as well. Now this barb is, it's going to be finished off with pressure, but if I can get it shaped with percussion, it just makes it so much easier. Shaped, preliminary shaped with percussion. Come on. It makes it much easier. Supposedly, I've done these before. I have done these before, and percussion supposedly works well, but it's too stubborn. If I hit any harder, I'm going to break that barb off. So I'll wait. I knew it. I start thinking it's going to be easy to run flakes up through this area here, but no. But I knew that. I knew it. I still took the chance anyway. And thought to myself, yeah, it's not going to be too hard. Okay. Did it do it? Kind of, sort of did it. There's still a stiff fracture there. Story of my life on both sides. I got the stiff fracturing going on. So what am I going to do? I got to take one of the edges off. This edge down more or this edge down more. Or both. So I can get to the middle. Because these flakes aren't traveling. I think I'm going to take more of this edge off because I don't like the concrete. Yeah. And then from this edge, I'll hit in and thin it. I think that would be the best strategy. Yeah, I'm gonna take this back a little bit more. Okay, let's see what we got. See what we can do with the pressure flaking. Change my glasses. That's it. What time is it? It's late, and I've already got an hour on this video. All right, here we go. Am I seeing things right? Well, I can pressure flake without too much crushing. That's good. Yeah, I can really lay into it, and it's not crushing on the edge. All right, that's good. Come on. Yeah. Alrighty. When it gets tough on the edge, you just gotta zigzag it sometimes. Okay. The hard part is just being able to hold on to it. Come on. Okay. I need to do that with percussion. It's not going to let me do that with pressure. It's only going to let me do short flakes with pressure. I don't have Herculean strength. Okay. I shouldn't have taken that pressure flake. Oh well. Just going to make it harder for me to thin that area down. It's not going to be too hard. I hope. Come on. Yeah, I've made these before, but I made them out of Texas chert. This type of chert, or this type of flint, is a little bit harder, but it's not too bad. I think I have made some of these out of Danish flint. All right, so let me think here. I gotta make sure I do this right, because I could snap it in half if I'm not careful. Yeah, it doesn't look all that great. It doesn't look all that good as far as being able to thin it. I'm trying to minimize those step fractures before I try thinning it. Yeah, that's not going to work. That worked a little bit. That's unfortunate because that's a pressure flaking error. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It makes it harder for me to do a percussion strike because the edge is thin now. That was good, but not good enough. Better. As long as I don't crack it, I'll be doing all right. I can still crack the edge by doing this, even though it doesn't happen as often on small points. Come on. What are you doing? I want to try to clean that up, but I'm kind of not. I'm not prepared to take that risk to put a large flake in there right now. But let's see. I might be able to do it. Take some flakes off the other side first. Not like that. Yeah, like that. It moves the edge more that way. I don't know if I'll be able to do that flake on that side. Nope. It doesn't look that good right now. That's not good. Ah, boy. Nope. Dang it. Yeah, the problem is I can't do the long flakes. If I could do the long flakes, it wouldn't be so difficult to thin it down in the middle or to get rid of some of that crunchiness. Yeah, if I could just do the longer flakes. But it requires too much force. I'm going to snap the whole thing in half. Yeah. Of course, these things don't need to be perfect to be functional. All right, hold on. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah. I'm getting tired of this one anyway, so let's just finish it up. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll stop messing with it. I think I can continue on the barb, but as you can see, to make a really long one, it just takes a lot of picking at it. And you know, you can make them longer if you want, right? It just takes a lot more patience, and there's a lot more risk in snapping it the longer it gets, of course. But there's no secret to it. You just gotta go slowly. Make sure the tool is just right. Make sure there's no inconsistencies in the barb, right? You can get it progressively more narrow. Now, I don't know if I should, if that's how much curve there is in those or not. You know, I remember them. I remember it being, you know, symmetrical in the photos. You know, an even curve all the way down the edge. I don't think they flare out. In other words, it, to me, it would make more sense if they flared out, but I don't think they did. Yeah, someone wanted me to make a really long barb. I'll do it eventually, but it just takes time. The longer the barb, the longer it takes. And you got to get used to the material. And you got to have a pad that's not concave in any portion that you're napping on, because it'll snap it. Because it's easy to bridge it. You know, it's easy to have pressure points on either side of where you're napping. You've got to have a convexity on the pad right where you're putting pressure, or you're going to snap the barb off. It makes a pretty good, it feels really sharp, so it makes a pretty good arrowhead, but it's really tough. It does feel like agate, and it is translucent. How does it look hafted? Let's see. I'm glad you asked. Right, if I can find my stuff. I always move them out of the way, so I have just my stone available. Yeah, I probably should thin it down a little bit more, but not anymore. Not when I have that long barb there. See, if I thin it down more, I could push it down further in the notch. What's it used for? I don't know. I'd use these for warfare because you can't get them out easily. It actually twists. You know, when you try to pull it out, not only does it stick, but it twists in the wound like that. and try to get that out. Yeah. And I mean, you can carry these if the, when the barb is close to the shaft, it's easier to handle these. But when you try to withdraw it from a wound, it is going to move. It is going to do this. Okay? I think that's why they did it, for warfare, so that the arrowhead would stay in the wound. Okay? Yeah, it'll do that, and then it'll pop out. How do I know? I don't know. Have I tried shooting it? I had one that I did shoot at with a smaller barb than this. And if the barbs are uneven, that's what happens. And in any case, if the barbs are uneven, when you get resistance on that barb, it twists the arrowhead. Yeah, it breaks the hafting glue. If you've got wrapping on it, it'll stay wrapped, right? And it'll just twist like that in the wound. You won't be able to get it out. And if you pull even harder, you'll pull the wrap off and this will stay in. But yeah, it'll break the glue joint when you try to pull that out, when the barbs are uneven. Okay? Get it? Now you know? Okay. I should take a picture. Let's see. I have one of these. Yeah, that fits better. Yeah. It's a wider notch. Yeah, I just need a good background. I'm going to sleep after this. Am I going to sleep good? No, because I was all anxious doing this. Why was I anxious? Because I wanted to get it done quickly. I need to take some photos. So hold on. I can't get a good snapshot. There's one. And do this by itself. Yeah. It does feel nice and sharp. Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's it.